Today's Cosplay Con Talk episode is sponsored by Moco Queen Color Contacts. Don't forget to use my code Wayne for 10% off at checkout at mocoqueen.com. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Recording in progress.
How's it, everyone? Wayne the Known here, and welcome back to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk, where we basically discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and convention. I'm joined here by Emily and Victoria of Double Mischief Cosplay, and I'm also joined here by Consul Cosplay, and they are going to be discussing their experience from Washington State SummerCon, which happened, last week?
Mm-hmm.
Well, by the time this comes out, it'll have been 2 weeks by then. So we'll start off with Consul. Was this your first time going to Washington State SummerCon?
Yes. Yeah, it was my first time. I didn't do the whole weekend. I just did the first 2 days.
And I know this is not like the biggest con you've been to because you've been to Anime Expo, which I think is the biggest con you've gone to. No, Dragon Con has been the biggest one you've gone to.
Yeah, probably Dragon Con, I'd say. Yeah.
Nice. Well, how did you like your first 2 days of Wash SummerCon?
It was good. It's always been on my list of cons to go to. Especially because I met one of the people that runs it at a small little esports event. It's so when I met the guy, he seemed really nice, and he said he runs Washington State SummerCon, and I was like, oh, like maybe I'll try to go next year, and here we are. And I just so happened to have the weekend off, and so it kind of worked out perfectly. It was great.
Yeah, that always works if you have the time off to go to a con and the money, of course.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Now, Emily and Victoria, I'll start with Emily. You said this was not your first time going, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, this year was my second year going to Washington SummerCon. I previously went last year in 2022. A friend of mine had been going for a while, and she talked me into going, and I very much enjoyed it last year and this year.
Nice. Want to give your friend a shout out who recommended it?
Imogen Cosplay.
Oh,
yeah.
I saw that they
like,
went
you
this
gotta
year.
Go. Yeah, and she was also at Washington SummerCon this year.
Nice. Victoria, this was not your first year either. You said this was your second year before we started?
Yes, like Emily, we tend to go to cons together, so this was also my second year going to the Washington SummerCon. And it was a good timing last year because we couldn't go to any other conventions earlier that year. So last year, Washington SummerCon was our first convention of 2022.
Nice. So before we talk about the cosplays, back to you, Consul. What did you think of Washington SummerCon for your first time?
I really liked it. I had never been to the fairgrounds up there, so I really liked the venue. I liked how it was like half outdoor, half indoor, like the kind of hangout space was outdoor space. I thought that was really cool because it allowed them to have like some really cool events that I haven't seen at other cons. Like they had live wood carving, like that was really cool. And they were like giant pieces too. These weren't small little carvings. They were like giant, huge logs, and they would have a giant dragons or giant aliens and space things.
I mean, that sounds about right for a fairground.
Yeah, it was like really cool to see. It was kind of like this weird blend of like convention and like fair vibes and energy. So you had your elephant ears wood carving, but like you also had people dressed as Spider-Man like walking around. It was like kind of this weird, really cool like blend of kind of the two like worlds collide situation.
Right.
But it was really cool. I loved the venue. They had a ton of space for vendors and artists and the voice actors and the photo ops and all that fun stuff. The panels was outside, which was kind of different. I've never seen an outside panel room, or at least not that I can remember.
Well, if you go to Anna Medford, they may be doing outdoor panels there too.
Oh yeah, last year
they got a big stage there.
Yeah, I do remember Animed for last year. That was technically outside, but it was like a more covered area, I think. Yeah, so I really liked the venue. They had some really cool things. They had like a helicopter and a tank and a bunch of stuff that you wouldn't expect at a normal Comic-Con because it was like half outdoors, half indoors. So that was really cool.
Not your
I
not
liked
your
it a lot.
not your typical Comic-Con, basically. Not
Yeah,
not your granddad's Comic-Con.
yeah, it was really cool. I liked it a lot.
Same question for you, Emily Victoria, starting with Victoria. How did you like the con this year?
So I really enjoyed it. It's really, since it's held on the fairgrounds and half of it's outside and half of it's indoor, it's kind of unlike any other con in this area. So it's so unique in that way that it really gives it its own vibe. It was definitely interesting to, last year, when we went in June, it was raining because we had January last year. So it was nice to see it summer and warm this year, but also be able to go into the buildings with the AC to be cooled down if it got too hot outside.
Oh, ACs are essential, especially with summer cons. ACs are so essential.
Yeah. It was interesting this year because I didn't do many panels last year, but I did more panels this year. They had their big main stage in this giant white tent, which was interesting because they saved the official the buildings area hosted the vendors hall, and then another building hosted the artist alley, and another building hosted the video game hall.
So they had
which was
basically they
actually
had
new this year.
they had enough space for everything.
Yes, they did. And the big white tent did get kind of warm because it was a big white tent. It was all thoroughly covered and enclosed, and they did blast air conditioning into it. It's just
It's really not. It's not. The big tents are not always easy to insulate.
right, yeah, but it was big, which was nice, and that's so they could have a lot of space for people that were interested in the main panels.
Nice. Back to you, Consul. What did you do on the 2 days that you went?
So the first day I just did I just kind of hung out with friends because it was my first time going to the convention. So we walked the vendors hall, and the exhibitors and the artist alley. We talked to some voice actors because some of my friends wanted to get some autographs of some of the voice actors that were there. But it started pretty late in the day. It started at 3 to 7, I think, is what it was. So it was mostly just kind of wandering around, hanging out, and familiarizing ourselves with the area and the convention and kind of where everything was. And then the second day, I went up and did a bunch of photo shoots with Alex, the photographer. And he's a really great photographer. Highly recommend. So I did a photo shoot. Yes, highly recommend. I did a photo shoot with him, and then I helped him on all of his photo shoots. So it was really nice to kind of be the behind the scenes helper cameraman with a couple of his photo shoots. And then I did get a couple of autographs for myself. As a Star Trek fan, there was a bunch of Star Trek actors there.
I saw a lot of people were also wanting Patrick Stewart to be there.
Yeah, he wasn't there, but I did get a couple of autographs for my dad because he's a huge Star Trek fan. He's a Trekkie, right? Yeah.
What autographs did you get?
I got the actor for Geordie LaForge, and God, it's been so long since I've seen Next Generation. I'm like trying to remember their names. The vice captain, whose name I cannot remember.
Jonathan Frakes?
Yes.
Because they had him. They had John Delancey, Terry Matalis from Picard, and Maria. I'm not going to try to pronounce her. Marina Sirtis and Todd Stad. Yeah. Word.
Yeah. But yeah, so I got those two. And it was great. They were both super nice individuals. They were also cracking jokes at each other the whole time. They had all the Star Trek actors in a little separate room, a little kind of back separate room, which was a little bit hard to find, but we figured it out. They had big signs, so it was pretty easy. But yeah, it was nice, and they were all just cracking jokes at each other, and it was awesome. But yeah, they were all super nice. So I started my day doing the autographs, and then I pretty much hung out and helped Alex do his photo shoots for the rest of the day until we went to the cosplay contest.
Nice. Yes, they had a lot of. I'm like surprised they were able to get so many guests at a fairground. But I'm guessing.
Con has been really good at getting big name guests.
I'm surprised. I mean, but then again, you got like ECC up there too, and SoccerCon.
Yes. But this is in Puyallup, so it's kind of an hour away from Seattle. And it's just been interesting. Again, the Washington SummerCon originally started out as, I believe, Washington Toy Fair, and they still have the toy show. Oh, toy show, not toy fair. Excuse me. It's at a fairgrounds. I get it all mixed up. It's okay. And then they eventually broke off. They still have the toy show, but they wanted to do the more cosplay and Comic-Con aspects. So
it gets more people. It gains more traction that way.
Yeah. And they're able to promote, their toy show as well during SummerCon and be like, hey, and they also bring guests to their toy show. A couple people that had to cancel due to other obligations for Washington SummerCon are actually going to their toy show instead. I believe it's in October sometime.
I'm really shocked to see Troy Baker, Giancarlo you're getting A-grade actors.
Yeah, they were supposed to have Mario Lopez. He unfortunately had to cancel.
I saw it.
But still being able to get Mario was a shock.
Same with Shannon Doherty. But I had family who went there too, and they were happy to meet Rose McGowan from Charmed and a few others. I was again really shocked to see, especially I can tell Washington State Summer Con is a well-known con. It's not big in size, but the fact that you can get actors like that, the people who run that con know people who know people.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing about Washington State SummerCon is they're very active on social media, and they're very straightforward about hey, sorry, this person canceled, but we're working on trying to get somebody else. We can make no promises, but they do give heads up and be like, hey, this person canceled, or sorry, they couldn't come, or sometimes they have this little Facebook group. Sometimes people were making a thread of requesting people and be they can't get Patrick Stewart, or the Clone Wars cast, because the voice actors for Clone Wars have a deal with Reed Pop, and of course Washington State Comic-Con is not Reed Pop. So.
Yeah, no, it's you can ask all you want, but I mean,
yeah, there's little. Well, they were making a point, especially on their groups, when people were asking about guests. They're like, yes, we're bringing these guests, but we're still not a large con, so they can't bring the big names people were wanting.
I consider Giancarlo Esposito a big name. He's been in a lot of stuff lately. From Star Wars to
they brought John Barrowman from Doctor Who.
Oh, they got John Scott. They got John Scott Barrowman.
Arrow.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Anyway, back to you, Victoria and Emily. Starting with you, Emily. What did you do at the con? Did you guys do the same? Did you guys stick together, or do you guys just do separate things?
A little bit of both. I like to say. Victoria and I went Saturday and Sunday. So got there Saturday morning. I like to explore around the vendors hall and just kind of see where everything's at. I was just in a really comfy cosplay that day, so it was nice. The panels, I didn't attend too many panels. I did the John Barrowman panel, and that was a great panel.
Ah, can't pass that opportunity.
Yeah, he
Yes.
was hilarious, honestly. And he comes out in cosplay, and he had like this.
I went
did a
down.
reveal.
I don't doubt that he did.
It was fabulous. It was really fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just walked around a lot, and then towards the end of the day, I was gonna watch the cosplay contest, but I got there a little too late to actually get a seat in like the stadium. But then I happened to run into Consul and Alex, so it was fine.
We were sitting on the ground together.
Yep, we were on the ground.
It sounds like there wasn't a whole lot of seating there then.
Not near the stage. There was like some chairs in front and then bleacher seating, but there wasn't really, because this was one of the other stages they had. This was they ran some panels on this stage, and they also ran the cosplay contest on it. So
Hopefully the stage was big enough then for the cosplay contest.
this stage was definitely a smaller stage. They had like 3 stages. They had the main stage. This was called, the cosplay contest was held on the fountain stage because there was a big fountain behind it. It wasn't a super small stage, but it wasn't as big as the main stage. But it is hard to balance everything that goes on at the same time.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe it. Speaking of cosplays, back to you, Consul. What cosplays did you do for the con this year?
So the first day, Friday, I did a character from the anime Ace of Diamond, Sawamura from Ace of Diamond. I totally butchered his name, but that's because I'm bad at pronouncing things. But that's fine.
What's his name?
Sawamura. He's the main character.
Ace of Diamond anime. I'll probably. Oh, I've seen you. Yeah, you and your friend did a TikTok with him once. It's a baseball anime, right?
Probably. Yeah, it's baseball.
Yeah. Okay, I remember. I've seen you've done this cosplay before on TikTok.
Yeah, there's my boys. There they are.
It kind of reminds me of Ice Shield and Prince of Tennis.
Oh, I'm a huge Prince of Tennis fan and a huge Eye Shield fan.
I'm just saying this is sports anime, and so this is like your okay. Here's another picture. I just picked up.
Yeah, there he is. That's the one.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of this anime, but it seems to be doing really well from on Crunchyroll.
It's really good. I like it a lot. I mean, obviously, I cosplayed from it, so I at least like it enough.
You like it enough to cosplay from it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's what I did Friday, just because it was nice and comfortable for the drive up there. And we actually got stuck in some pretty bad traffic. So
I forgot. Sorry, are you from Oregon or Washington?
I used to live in Vancouver, Washington, but now I live in Portland.
Okay.
So
still quite a bit of a drive.
Yeah. So it was at least a couple hours, but because of the traffic, there was apparently like 3 different crashes on the road, and it was crazy on Friday. What was like a 2.5 hour drive ended up being like a 5.5 hour drive.
I get it. It's the summer, but you gotta be careful.
Which is crazy because we drove up Friday evening and had no problems with traffic at all. It was all cleared off by then.
Yeah, it must have been because our drive was terrible because we had planned to be there at least an hour early so that we could take photos before the convention started. And then we ended up showing up like an hour and a half late to the convention. So we didn't even show up till like 4:30, almost 5 o'clock. And like the convention on Friday ended at like 7 or something like that. So we weren't even there for too long. Because of the traffic. But it kind of worked out a little bit just because I was in a comfy cosplay because I was like, Friday, comfy cosplay. I have at least couple hour drive ahead of me. So, and he's really comfortable. So it worked out in the end. And then the second day, Saturday, I was wearing, of course, a JoJo. I did Johnny Joestar. JoJo Part 7.
As of course, I think that
Of course, it's JoJo.
I feel like JoJo's are just.
When are you not in JoJo Consul?
I think
once a con.
I think it's been made pretty clear that Consul's comfort cosplays are JoJo's.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm
It's
not
super
making
fun.
a joke. I'm just making an obvious statement. If you go back and look at the other times you've been on here,
It's always JoJo.
it's not a bad thing.
It was but yeah, and then I had a photo shoot in Johnny, and towards the end of the day, I found a couple of other JoJo cosplayers that were cosplaying from the same part, and they crocheted me this little guy.
It's so
Who is-
cute.
I don't know what that is, but that looks adorable.
Yeah, so Johnny Joestar, his stand, in its first form is this little kind of creepy little guy. So they gave this to me, and they're like, "Oh, we were actually looking to see if there would be a Johnny cosplayer, so we could give this to them." And so I got it, and he's so
Yay.
cute.
Lucky
Did
you.
they crochet that at the con?
They crocheted it before the con, but they just brought it to the con.
I'll have you take a picture so it can actually show up bigger.
Yeah, but I mean, they could have crocheted at the con. I don't know, but they gave it to me, and they're like, "Oh, we were hoping to find a Johnny cosplayer," and that was me. I was that Johnny cosplayer. So, and we took a photo together, and it was great. It was awesome.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Those were my cosplays.
Okay, I know who
Nice.
Johnny Joestar is. You cosplayed him at Medford last year.
Yes, I
I
did.
have a feeling you're probably going to do another JoJo this year if you go to Ann Medford.
Probably. Who knows? We'll see.
Back to you, Emily. What cosplays did you do?
So Saturday, I was in Nijire from My Hero Academia. I was just in her gym uniform, so it's a blue shirt and pants with like the white stripes on it. It was super comfy. I really enjoyed that character, and I recently got a new wig for her, so it was me testing out the cosplay and the wig together, and it worked really well.
This character?
Yeah, but in
Okay.
a gym uniform. But
That's
basically that character.
that's a lot of hair.
Well, it's so funny. I have the trend is okay. I have shoulder length hair just for personally for myself, my haircut, but I tend to cosplay a lot of characters that have really long hair. It's so random. And then on Sunday, I was just in a little Renaissance outfit, and I put a pair of cat ears I have together with it and plopped on a wig. It was just a comfy, casual outfit.
Nice. What about you?
And then
Go. You know what I was going to ask.
Saturday, I wore Licia from Pokemon again. This is my second time wearing this cosplay. I love it so much. She's more of a niche character. She's not seen a lot, but I like her a lot. The wig is always a challenge because it's so tall, but it actually sits nicely, and I can wear it throughout the day, and it doesn't give me a headache unlike some other wigs I have. And then it's actually pretty comfortable because it's just the top, and then it's shorts, and then the skirt I have on it, I can detach it from the shorts. So it's it can just turn into a top and shorts at the same time too.
Wait, what was it? What character was that again?
So it's Licia from Pokemon.
All right, I'm looking her right now. Continue.
And then on Sunday, I just wore a casual Renaissance outfit.
Nice.
And then I have these ocean-themed fox ears that I just paired with it. And I did some mermaid scale makeup too.
Nice. Is this the character?
Yes, that's Licia.
Again, that's a pretty big wig.
Yeah, it's definitely the most complicated wig I have, and it definitely has its own box that it's stored in, and it's only used for that wig.
It's
But,
basically your one use wig for that cosplay.
yeah.
Show of hands here who have that one wig for a specific cosplay. Yeah. And so you guys only did the 2 days then?
Yeah, we did Saturday, Sunday. Maybe
And-
next year we'll do all 3 days.
And Consul, you did Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, I did Friday, Saturday.
I feel like it's depending on the cons. People will do the whole 3 days. Oh, yeah.
It's interesting with Comic Cons, especially with Washington Summer Con and Rose City, that like their Friday is not the whole day. It's usually like a half day or something. So sometimes I'll just skip the half day and just go the Saturday, Sunday.
And then you got your day zeros that people usually do.
Sometimes, yeah. You do have those day zeros. Depends if the Comic Con or conventions allowing like badge pickup at that time.
My experience with 3 day conventions, which was SAC Anime, they didn't do a half day; it was a whole day. Last day was like the half day.
I don't know if this is exactly true, but I find that more anime cons will do like the full 3 days. So like Friday's a full day, Saturday's a full day, Sunday's a full day. At least with the smaller Comic Cons, they don't. Well, okay, only the two smaller ones I will call small. Rose City's not even small, but they're not like Emerald City. Emerald City does like a full 4 days. But Rose City does half the day Friday and then full day Saturday, Sunday.
It's a really up to, and I'm sure you all can agree, it's up to the con if they want to do a whole day for day one or a half day.
Yeah.
Because day one, everyone just got done setting up like the night or day before, getting the vendors, getting ready for the guests, getting ready for all that fun stuff. So I imagine everyone's tired. It's like, you know what? We're not going to do a whole day. We'll wait till next day.
Right. Yeah.
And all I know is day one's always so goddamn crowded.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just saw pictures from Anime Expo. That's just going on this. That's going on this week, and I know it was too close. I know you could have gone, but it was too close to WAS Summer Con.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna try Anime Expo this year.
No, I for those who can, I mean, before we end this, for those who can do multiple cons right after another, what? And I'm going to use my one F word. What the fuck is wrong with you? Two, I swear, people have they know people or they have the money to do all these, or they're guests. I couldn't do that personally.
I thought that, so we attended ECC this year, and between that and Sakura Con was 5 weeks, and I thought that was kind of a bit close too. And it was just like, wow. Don't know how people do like a 2-week turnaround.
Oh, and before
aren't you going? Consul, are you going to Kuroneko?
Yeah, I'm going to Kuroneko. Yeah.
So you're doing the 2-week turnaround.
Yeah.
My first con. Well, before we continue here, my first con my con season finally starts this month. I'm going to KCC Comic Con in Klamath Falls.
Oh,
they had over 2,000 attendees last year. It's held at Klamath Community College.
Wow!
Oh, wow!
So yeah, for anyone who's watching this, be sure to check that out. Actually, should be see. I also want to give a real quick shout out to another person who can come on, Joel the Geek. Be sure also to check out his episode of his experience and review for Wash SummerCon. Up next is probably one of my favorite things. Back to you, Consul. What were some of your favorite highlights of Wash SummerCon?
Well, definitely, I think meeting some of the actors and voice actors that I got to chat with. Doing my photo shoot with Alex, always a pleasure.
Shout out to Alex.
Shout out to Alex. He's great.
Yeah, he's great.
But I also got to know a lot of other photographers and a lot of other vendors, which was really nice. Kind of meeting a lot of people more on the industry side of the convention, meeting a lot of vendors, meeting a lot of other
Nice.
photographers, meeting
If
a
you
lot
get
of
if you get the chance, I highly recommend getting photos taken by Triple Click.
triple click.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
he-
had photos taken last year at Washington Summer Con, or was it Rose City? I can't remember, but I enjoyed those photos. Triple Click was awesome.
Yeah. So it was really nice meeting a bunch of people that were more not just on the cosplay side of things, because obviously I have a bunch of friends that
But
are
like
cosplayers.
the business side of it too.
Yeah. So that was really nice chatting with them, kind of picking their brain on conventions and photography and vending and things of that sort. So, because I know a little bit about that stuff, but it is nice to hear someone talk about it who has so much more experience about those types of things. So that would probably be my highlight, is just kind of networking with those type of people, which was really awesome. But yeah, I mean, I'm always going to be starstruck when I get to meet one of those big name actors or voice actors. So there was that too.
Same question for you, Emily and Victoria. Starting with Victoria, what were some of your favorite highlights from this con?
Well, I think one of our favorite highlights was Sunday. We did the photo op with John Barrowman in his cosplay. He had on this TARDIS jersey with these short shorts and thigh-high yoga boots. It was just amazing.
If you guys have a picture of that,
I don't have it with us now, but I'm sure we can send it to you.
yeah, that's what I mean. If you can send it, because just sorry, I like John Scott Barrowman. Okay,
he's fabulous.
He's one of my favorite queer icons.
Mm-hmm. His panel, and unfortunately you could not film the panel, and I couldn't film anything, which sucks. But
it makes sense.
It does make sense, but he answered questions and was just such a fabulous representation, and he's great. But yeah, another highlight on Saturday was honestly just finding friends you didn't expect to be there, that all of a sudden you're just like, hey, I know that person. And then going out to pizza afterwards with a group of friends. And getting to know a couple more photographers. Like, I got to meet Ken Imagery and got to know them a bit more. And we'll be having a photo shoot with them probably at the end of July. And then we were also, our friend introduced us to a tattoo artist who was actually in the Vancouver area, who was actually vending at Washington Summer Con, and we were talking about different tattoos, which was really cool.
It'd be kind of cool to see a tattoo artist at more cons, like an actual tattoo booth. But you have to be,
Well, Rose City Comic Con has an actual tattoo booth during the convention.
I may have to go to Rose City next year.
Yeah.
I know. I don't think Yukon is still running, but Yukon, that was Eugene Comic Con. I don't think they're still running anymore, but they used to have live tattooing.
I haven't heard anything about Yukon in a while.
Yeah, I don't think they're still running anymore, but they had live tattooing. I know you have to get special certifications as a tattoo artist. To be able to do,
you have to be a legit, and you have
tattooing.
You have to be a legit. You have to own your own shop, and you have to have proof of that you are a tattoo artist.
Yeah, and also she was talking about having to have amount of years of studio experience.
Yeah, I was gonna say you at least need quite a few years before Yeah.
Right.
Same question for you. Wait, who did I ask? Is it Emily or no?
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Victoria, what was some of your favorite highlights?
Yeah, definitely John Barrowman, and going out to dinner with friends and meeting new photographers. But then I also think a highlight was we actually reconnected with a friend from college. We actually drove up to her place in Chehalis, grabbed her along the way, and then drove to Puyallup. And it's been a few years since we've seen each other, so it's great to get back together, and we just clicked just like old times. Nice.
So one of my... go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say a really big highlight was on Sunday. They had this a huge panel of the Avatar: The Last Airbender voice
I
actors
saw
together.
they had quite a few.
It was really good, and they had Aang's voice actor who no longer does voice acting. He does more behind the scenes and rarely comes to conventions. And it was a highlight just to see them all together.
Yeah, I heard he rarely goes. A friend of mine was wanting to go to get an autograph finished of one of the masks from the TV show, but they couldn't make it. But yeah, I heard that there was a lot of Avatar voice actors there.
Right, there was Dante Basco and Gray and
I love Great
quite a
White.
number of others. It was really fun, and they were all like playing off each other and having experiences of the Toph and Aang's voice actors, like because they were quite young when they did Avatar.
Oh yeah, they were really young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last question before the last question. Back to you, Consul. Any cosplay, any convention mishaps, horror stories you'd like to share from this con, if there were any?
Not any specifically from this con. Towards the end of Saturday, as I was headed out to go to our little pizza party that we were having,
I'm jealous you had pizza.
yeah, we had a little pizza gathering at one of the local pizza places, which was fun with all of the friends.
Would you highly recommend the pizza place for post con?
Yes, I
food?
believe it was called Pizza Pie.
Of course it is.
So I don't remember what it was called, but it was really good.
I believe it was Pizza Pie because like I went to a really similar joint in Portland like a few days ahead of.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was Pizza Pie, I think is what it was called. But it was great pizza and great customer service. So I definitely do recommend. But we were walking out to the con to walking out of the con to go to the pizza, and there was a photographer that was like that like ran up to me and was like, quick, get into a pose or whatever, right? And I was like just so like shocked and stunned that I was like I like didn't know what to do, and I was like trying to get into a pose, and you know JoJo poses, they take time to get into.
Well, not to mention like you're doing like almost Matrix moves.
Yeah, so I was so like just shocked and like taken aback.
And you just got done eating pizza too.
Oh, well, we were headed out to pizza, is what it was.
Like you being hungry too, and then being asked.
Yeah, that I forgot to take off my glasses, and I have these neon green glasses, so I forgot to take them off for the photo. So I was just like, I didn't realize until after he took the photo of me that I was like, I totally forgot to take my glasses off.
Hopefully, you got a picture. Hopefully, you got a picture.
I guess so, but I guess he was okay with that photo because he didn't ask for another one. So, yeah, no like specific mishaps, but like that was probably
interesting. Yeah,
definitely interesting. And I was like just taken aback, and I was like shocked a little bit. Also, kind of like little sidebar thing. Back to the Avatar voice actors. My friend had talked to the Azula voice actor.
Great Delisle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such an amazing voice actor.
Yeah. Who was at Anna Medford, and my friend Meritorious Zero, who was there with me at Anna Medford, they had, as they were leaving, they had run over a like traffic cone, and it got stuck under their truck. So they were driving away with this traffic cone under their truck, and this was at Anna Medford. And so I was like waving them down to try and get them to stop so I could pull the truck out, and they thought I was just waving. So they were like waving back and like saying things to us as like their characters, and I literally just like step in front of their car and be like, no, stop, right? So my friend went up to Azula's voice actress and was like, hey, do you remember this little con Anna Medford? And like mentioned that moment. And she was like, that was you guys? So that was kind of fun having Azula's voice actress remember us pulling a traffic cone out from under her vehicle.
Oh wow.
Well, you saved her. You saved her from near almost probably getting into an accident.
Yeah, it was bad. But it was really funny that she remembered Anna Medford.
Nice. Real quick, same question for you, Emily and Victoria, whoever wants to answer first.
Sure. So, not really a cosplay mishap, but we had a photo op. Well, it's an interesting situation. I'll call it a little bit of a mishap. Because Victoria and I go in on photo ops together. It's cheaper that way, and I don't mind getting a picture with the voice act with the celebrity and my sister in it too. And we usually get 2 physical prints at Rose City. When you purchase the photo ops, you can purchase extra prints at that time too. It's very common with big groups to kind of go in together to split the price between them all and then each get a physical print, instead pay extra for that physical print. So we want to make sure at Washington State SummerCon that we could get 2 physical prints, because after I get the physical print, I like to go get the autograph right away. So that's it. We did the photo op, and I heard it was really messy on Saturday. We did a Sunday photo op, luckily, so it ran smoother. But when we got out to the printer, which was really weird because we had to go through this random curve, it only printed 1 physical photo. And at the time, we had asked 3 different times. The social media team had said, when I made a post on social media asking them about this, they had said, bring $10 cash to the printers and no problem, they can print it out. Well, printed extra copy for you. And I was like, okay, great. Asked another staff member. They said, no, you don't do extras. If you wanted an extra print, you'd have to buy another photo op again, which was really weird.
Sounds like there was some kind of miscommunication.
Right. And then we got to the actual printer. Then there's another staff member who would be calling for photo ops and seemed to have more information. She was like, yes, just bring $10 cash to the printer and they'll print you an extra, no problem. Well, we get to the printer, asked to get an extra, and then the staff member went behind the curtain and asked the photographer, and the photographer was like, we are not printing any extras. They do, of course, provide a digital copy of the photo, so I can get the photo printed later, but in my personal situation, it didn't work because I like to get the physical photo, then go and get the autograph.
Makes sense.
So it was just a really weird situation. I don't think it was honestly Washington State SummerCon. I think it was the company they hired to do the pictures. It's just like Rose City. Usually the photo ops people, while they are part of the convention, usually they're a separate company that was hired out to do the photos. So it was just a very strange situation. And a lot of misinformation going around. No one seemed to have a solid answer.
It's a bit odd. What about you, Victoria?
Yeah, basically the same thing. But I also heard from a friend who can't stand in long lines. So she usually has an ADA pass that some of the celebrity lines do not have a dedicated ADA line. I heard that they were better with the voice actor lines, at least some of them. But there seemed to be no communication with the staff about which lines, at least going to celebrities and also for ADA. And another thing we ran into that they only did on Sunday was because they were having some very large panels on Sunday, they were giving out these panel passes that had different groups on them. But the thing is, they didn't make any announcements on social media or anything the day before about these panel passes, and they had not done it on either Friday or Saturday. And this was for the panels in the big tent. It was just when we walked in on Sunday, we saw people at this table and they had these cards and they were giving out these different passes for panels. And so that's how we got ours. But even then, the groups didn't have exact timings on them. We still got into our panel, but it was just strange because they had to let everyone that had the panel passes in first. And then anyone that didn't know about the panel passes had to wait for all those people to enter. And then if there was any leftover seats, they could grab those. It was just lack of communication about that. And with the panel line, there was no ADA line. My friend got told by a staff member that she had to wait with the rest of the people that didn't have cards. So there was miscommunication, and staff didn't seem to have. Again, this was they grew a lot this year, so
Oh yeah,
it's a con
when a
that's
con gets bigger, there's a
growing.
lot like
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god, there's so much happening at once.
Right, right. And not to excuse the con, just because they're growing doesn't mean they shouldn't be having. They should be having ADA accessible lines, and their staff members should be knowledgeable, or at least have some knowledge of ADA.
Bro, SummerCon, if you're watching this, just kidding.
Overall, it was a good experience. Just some mishaps and
It
some
happens.
misinformation that was.
I've noticed with these bigger cons, it's happening a lot more lately with these bigger cons. You're getting, the con's growing. You're getting these bigger name guests. You're getting more attendees. It gets overwhelming.
Yes, it does, and it's my personal opinion. It's a matter of like changing your thinking, of thinking like a small con to thinking like a big con. And what works for a small con isn't going to work for a big con.
Oh yeah, no.
Learning to transition from
you gotta learn to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and I think it's what you guys were talking about before, where when bigger cons hire the third-party companies to run different sectors of the convention, I think that in and of itself is going to lead to a lot of miscommunication, because they all are going to run their own systems differently.
It's better to hire people you know than people you really don't know.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, I
completely agree. I feel like sometimes it's not wise hiring third party.
Mm-hmm.
But also, to them it saves money.
Yeah.
Because they already spent the money getting all these big name actors coming in.
Right.
Because a good chunk of the money that the con uses, it's not just for the venue. But it's also
bringing in the
event, and I'm sure eventually Washington State SummerCon will eventually upgrade to a much bigger location.
Well, they can also. I've heard from a friend who's been to the. They can expand more into the fairgrounds too. There's a lot more room to expand in the fairgrounds. They were saying.
Well, we'll see next year. Last but not least, back to you, Consul. Is this a con you would recommend for anyone who's curious about it?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. It is more of a Comic-Con and pop culture convention than it is like an anime con, but there is definitely a decent amount of like anime representation. So if you lean more on the side of an anime fan than a comic and pop culture fan, I would maybe just kind of come up for one day or like every other year or something. But I would definitely recommend it. I do think it is a fun convention with a lot of potential for growth. And like I said, I absolutely adore the venue being at the fairgrounds. I think it's really awesome. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. They have a ton of guests and it's great.
Nice. Same question for you, Victoria and Emily. Is this a con you would recommend to people who've never been?
Yes, I would recommend it. I would say with any new convention you go to, not everything's going to go your way. I think it's a really fun con, as Consul mentioned before. They bring in the Washington National Guard. They brought in these wood carvers. It just has there's a lot of happening inside and outside, so that's nice. You're never bored at the con, but if you need to get away, you could just go further into the fairgrounds to have more of a quiet, dedicated space. Then, of course, they didn't really have any dedicated quiet rooms, but at the same time, just go further into the fairgrounds and it gets more calm and quiet. Yeah. It's definitely a great con to go to, and like Consul mentioned, it does lean more towards the Comic-Con and pop culture side. So if you're very into anime, like they said, maybe just check it out for one day. But it still caters to both people.
Nice. I think that should about do it. Before we do, though, real quick, as always, drop your links below, kind of thing. Starting with console, would you like to let people know where they can find you on social media?
Yes, I am primarily on Instagram under Console of Cosplay, consul.of.cosplay. But I do have other social medias. I have a YouTube, a TikTok, and yeah, those are kind of my primary three. I am most active on Instagram, and I always check my DMs. So feel free to always reach out, DM me, whatever.
Same question for you, Double Mischief. Would you like to let people know where they can find you on social media in case they want to follow you?
So you can find us on Double Mischief _ cosplay on Instagram, and we also have a TikTok that is infrequent posting, but I'm trying to post more. Double Mischief _ cosplay on TikTok. I'll make sure that's correct when I send you the links, Wayne.
No.
And I'm always on Instagram. I am primarily on Instagram, so if you ever want to DM me, I'm open.
Links to all those will be below. Again, thank you all for coming on. And as always, I'm Wayne the Unknown. Until next time, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you for watching.